The year is 1921. On January 20th, the Ottoman Empire is effectively dissolved with the adoption of the Turkish Constitution. July 29th, Adolf Hitler becomes the chairman of the German National Socialist Workers' Party. I'm sure that will go swimmingly. November 4th, the Prime Minister of Japan, Hara Takashi, is assassinated in Tokyo. And most importantly, on March 16th, 1921, the United States Mint reissued the Morgan silver dollar. Alright guys, maybe you saw my short on a coin collection that I just purchased. It's quite large. I've got about 1,000 coins in there. Actually, I think it's 1,001 coins exactly. I have actually already gone through and sorted through pretty much everything. However, I haven't done it all yet, but some of it that I've done is the 21 Morgans. So I did get a lot of Morgans. I think I got 200 some Morgans. And out of those, I got a lot of 21s, which I don't particularly like 21s, but I did find a couple gems in here. And, well, at least one gem. You can see here I've got the 21 with a 17 berry, all those VAMs. It's not full, but there's quite a bit in there. These are the D's, the P's and D's, P's. Actually, I don't know what the hell. Oh, that's mixed. So there might be some Peace dollars in here. And the S's here. So I did search for all the varieties out of these so far, and honestly, I didn't get any of the good ones anyway. I don't want to make an incredibly long video going through the entire collection. So basically, I'm just going to kind of go through these with you, and then at the end, I will show you the top things that I found. So these are all the 17 berry ones, and unless I'm mistaken here, unless I'm mixing it up, on the talon on that middle toe right there. Let me get something to pinpoint better for you. That middle toe right there, the talon drops below the olive branch, and then you've got the 17th berry right there, that little ball right there. So you can see and diagnose for yourself, or find. You can just find for yourself where those coins are in your lot if you want to search. Now, some of these aren't particularly bad 21 Morgans, but the 21 Morgans, if you've watched my previous videos, they're not my favorite. I am not a fan of the 21, but they do have good varieties on them that are worth some money if you can find those varieties. And all of them are honestly pretty obvious varieties, like big cracks and this and that. So they're not too hard to search for the top varieties on this. But the 21 just isn't worth all that much unless you get it in, I want to say 64. You know, these videos would probably roll off my tongue so much smoother if I actually would make a, what's that thing called? This is why editing takes me so long, and why sometimes I lose a little bit of passion for this stuff, is I cannot bring up words when I'm trying to do stuff, especially when I'm doing something like this and I'm trying to focus on the camera and see if it's in focus and that you can see it. A script, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. This one, I think this is the one. I actually might have to clean this one up. I was wondering if this one, it's got a very reflective fields in it. Probably not going to be worthy of a proof like or a dimple, but I don't really see that on a lot of the 21s I've got. And honestly, 21s are probably the most of any Morgan dollar that I have, just because there were so many of them. And it seems like the one that everybody doesn't want to keep anyway. I might have to set this one aside and do a restoration on it and see how it comes out. There's another one. Nasty, dirty coins. So this seller actually contacted me a while back, and I had him take all kinds of pictures of his coins and this and that because we were in different states, and send them over to me. And this one you can see has been cleaned. You can see all the striations going through the face and the fields. But anyway, he contacted me wanting to sell, and I asked him a bunch of questions and asked him for the best picks and all that good stuff that he could get. And he sent all that to me and finally got around to making a offer to him. And he didn't like the offer, so he negotiated with me and brought it up. We brought it up a little bit, or actually, we didn't negotiate. I told him, he told me what he wanted after I made him an offer, which drives me nuts because making an offer on people's coins, I'm always super nervous. People get emotional towards their coins sometimes, and I worry if they're gonna get pissed off at me for, making them some kind of an offer. Given that I do a lot of this, long distance, it's hard for me to give them super, super good price without having it in my hand. I have to account for the possibility of some coins being fakes, especially in a situation like this where the guy would not take a picture of every individual coin, and that's understandable. I mean, it's 1,000 coins. But also, given that I can't offer the best possible price because I have to cover my ass, CYA, in case there's fake coins, or if my grading through pictures and whatnot is not as good as it would be in person, which it wouldn't, of course. And yeah, so anyway, he told me what he wanted. It wasn't a horrible price, but I tossed it around a little bit, thought about it, and then I basically said, okay, I'll take it. And then he says, well, sorry, my wife doesn't want me to sell. And I was like, okay, but why'd you just go through all that with me? But anyway, his wife didn't want to sell. And I said, well, keep me in mind. And then he, several months go by, and all of a sudden I get a text from somebody. There's a cleaned one with a bunch of pictures. Anyway, where was I? Got distracted, and I probably edited it out of the video. But anyway, so several months go by, and out of the blue, I get a text from somebody saying, hey, do you want to buy my coins? And I just assumed it was somebody new. And it was this guy again. So I am going through it, but I didn't realize it was this guy, and we're negotiating. Okay, see, we got some peace dollars here. Okay, got some peace dollars. I'll be saving those for a separate video. I'm just gonna break it down, this collection, for basically every kind of type of coin I got, making some shorter videos, hopefully. And he was asking me, do you want to buy my coins? I said, yeah, I'll take a look at them. What do you got? And sent a bunch of pictures, went through the whole rigmarole all over again. And then basically, we agree on a price, which was lower than what he wanted, a little bit higher than what I had initially quoted him, or not quoted, but offered him. And then he, out of the blue, I'm like, sorry. I went through, that's another cleaned one. I went through my old text to him. That one's probably clean too. There are quite a few cleaned ones in here. I was going through my old, whoa, look at that shiner. That's been buffed. Definitely a buffed coin. But I went through my old texts, and I accidentally hit the top of the screen where it scrolls all the way to the top, and then so it went way back, and I was like, oh, this is that guy. And so I apologized to him, but he was fine with the price that I offered. It was barely above what I offered him before, and he kind of wasn't happy with what I offered him the first time. You know, he seemed kind of upset through text anyway. As upset as you can get through a text message, I guess. And anyway, so I guess he said he needed it for medical bills and stuff. An older gentleman, as they tend to be. But yeah, he sold them to me at any rate. Quite a hefty price, I'll say, as far as just getting 1,000 coins. It's not the cheapest hobby, especially when you got Morgans and silver and all this stuff. But anyway, there's that story for you. So a lot of these are gonna be, that's probably gonna be considered cleaned. A lot of these aren't terrible condition. I haven't really gone through and priced everything out. I just don't have time for that. But if I had to give it an average price, average grade on all my 21s, I'd say they're gonna be high AU and low BU. You know, probably AU 58s, and this one probably not so much, but I'm just saying average. So they're gonna be like AU 58s and MS 60s, 61s on average, I believe. You know, they're not horrible coins. I mean, this one right here, just taking a quick look at it, you know, probably be like a 60, 61, I bet. It's got a good strike on it. You know, on the reverse, the fields are pretty nice. Obverse fields are, oh, wait a second. That looks like it's cleaned at that angle right there. That's a cleaned one, but if it weren't cleaned, putting the cleaning aside, I mean, the cheeks on these are pretty clean on a lot of them. But, you know, a little bit weaker strike on this one, but if you've been paying attention while I've been rolling on, the cheeks are pretty decent. I mean, I gotta say, most of them, I would say, are probably at least an MS60. So, you know, I don't know what an MS60 goes for. I don't think it's all that much. I think it's like 60-ish, 60, 80. I don't know. I can't memorize it all. In fact, I can't memorize much of it because I have a horrible memory. I mean, I'm obsessed with Morgans, and I love them. And I've looked for tons of AMs. I mean, look at the cheek on this one. So this is a pretty clean coin. It's kind of dull though, so it would probably get into the probably AU 58. But if I cleaned it up and it had more luster, I mean, that's a decent looking coin. So, but again, with the 21s, it's pretty much, if you aren't into maybe like a 64 or higher, they're not really worth all that much. And I think that looked cleaned. Yeah, that's cleaned. So, oh, by the way, it's St. Patrick's Day when I'm recording this. You'll probably get it next week. So happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. I've got a bit of Irish blood in me. So, yeah. Okay, 2 more rolls before I get into my tops. And just a little reminder, we're just doing the 21s, 1921 Morgans today. Just looking through them all. And as I said before, I've already gone through all of these, looking for varieties. If by chance you spot something. Now, okay, this one here, the chest feathers have some pretty good detail to them. Maybe this is one I should have set aside. But it's got a shininess to it that makes me feel like it was buffed or something. I probably set it as, it may be a nice coin, but I probably set it aside just because I figured it wasn't high enough grade to, you know, for me to value it, or whatever. Can't think of my words right now. That one looks clean there too. Trying to get the light to hit it right. Yeah, that's been cleaned. Stupid. So this guy had dogs or cats or something apparently, because there was a lot of hair in the packaging and on the tape and in the bottom of the tubes. And I am a bit allergic, but it didn't seem to bug me, so no worries. See, now there's some like this that they got a nice strike, but just too many dings and marks, and it might even be clean, this one. I'm not sure, that could be normal wear. But if I sent it to PCGS, you know that they would definitely not give it to me. That one's got a bit more wear than others. Kind of like the toning or dirt or whatever it is on this one. That one's probably cleaned as well. Wow, we are 17 minutes into the recording of this video already. I did not think it was going to take that long just to blow through these. But I tend to believe that with practically every video I make. Just all the recording and editing, which editing you wouldn't think it takes that long, but I actually cough a lot and screw up what I'm saying and cannot think of what I'm doing while I'm blowing through these coins. So there's a lot of editing, and then I have to listen to it and go through it. That's probably a cleaned one there. Okay. I just don't want you guys to hear all the throat clearing and coughing that I do. All right, last tube, and then we'll get into the nice ones. Or the gems that I found, or what I think are gems anyway. Okay, these are the S's. But yeah, when you edit these videos, you gotta you don't only just, you know, remove the coughs and this and that. It's a whole lot of watching it over and over. Like, I probably watched the videos that I make. There's a big old scratch going right through the D up through the shoulder, but I'm pretty sure that's a scratch and not anything like a VAM. But I've got to go through the videos, rewatch them 3, 4, sometimes 5 times, because so you edit it, and ooh, there's a really ratty one. That one I'll set aside. You edit it, and you go through, and you delete everything that you don't like out of it. Put in silly sound effects here and there that you think will maybe make somebody smile or giggle or laugh, or maybe even push them over the edge to hit that subscribe button. And while I'm mentioning that, why don't you hit that subscribe button, since most people who watch my videos are not subscribed. There's a scratched up one. And then you go and you post it, and then you see, okay, I gotta put, like, a lot of times I'll say, go to this video here. So I gotta go rewatch the video, I usually do it on a sped up like 2x, so I don't have to sit there for half an hour or an hour, however long the video is, and watch it. But I gotta find those spots so they pop up perfectly every time I say it. That's why I've kind of gotten away from saying that. And then you got to decide what video you want to put at the end of the screen. That one looks probably cleaned as well. And then if you want to do the chapters, which I don't usually do, but every once in a while, you got to go through it and find, okay, this is where I started talking about something different. And then you got to go back and put that into your description, and so it puts it in the video. There's just actually, it's quite a time consuming thing. Oh, that one actually caught it right as the light hit it. You could see a lot of, why am I not seeing it again? There it is at the bottom, around 1921. That's pretty, yeah, this has been cleaned. Yep. Okay. All right, now I can stop mumbling on about everything and show you the good coins. And maybe I'll put a chapter right to the end. Okay, here we go. We got 5 out of all of them, which is roughly 100 coins, I think. So try to get some good. So this one here just has, now there's, I'm seeing striations, no. I don't think that's cleaned. That's just a bunch of marks on the cheek. It's not going down into the fields. So this one, again, I'm not sure on the value. I guess I will just put them in the bottom right. But the strike's okay on it. It's not the best. It is somewhat flattened here. Somewhat flattened over the hair here. But the luster on it's really nice. The fields are decent. It does have a ding in the cheek. You know, the chest feathers, you can make them out, but not super great. And the 21s, honestly, I have not seen many 21s with a really, really good strike. I do have one in here that is just fabulous, but I would say this would probably get us, yeah, this one may not be as good as I think, but definitely a 63, possibly a 64. This one here is also, you know, a lot of them though, as we went through them, you could see the cheeks aren't bad. I don't think it's cleaned either. Again, you're getting scratches on the cheeks, but they're not coming through here. So I would assume that that's just your normal wear sliding around here and there. At least I'm not seeing any striations. One thing I worry about is on this one is this line around here. I can't tell through the camera right now. That might be a crack. I remember some of the coins did have a cracked die like that. But this one is decent. That's probably like a 63 also. If it's not, I don't know, man, that might be cleaned actually. Now I'm starting to see. Yeah, it might be cleaned. I don't know. I'll have to look a lot closer. All this is kind of preliminary for me. So this one here, okay, this is the one. Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely one. This is the one that is just a gorgeous 21. I have never seen a 1921 this nice. Dang it, when I look at it like that, it almost looks cleaned also. I don't know. I think I would risk sending this one in just because it's so nice. The luster on it, there's not a lot of marks in the fields. The cheek has got this one. It's looking a lot worse. Trust me. The only thing is that's a deep cut is like that right there. That line is kind of deep. There's a little bit of wear you can see up here. These are very light. They look deep in the camera, but they're very light marks on it. But the hair, I mean, the detail in the hair, that's a really good strike. On the chest feathers on a 21, you don't get a lot of chest feathers a lot of times. Again, on the reverse, the fields are really nice. It's got your, your bag marks and stuff here and there. But in general, I mean, the fields are super, super nice on this one. I just think that's got to be the nicest 21 that I've ever found or paid any attention to. But I'm really worried that maybe it's cleaned. I'm seeing those marks on it. Hey, I hope not. Because I was planning to send this one in, because I think this one could be a 65. Well, I think it's an easy 65 if I don't get a details grade. And it could be 65 plus. If I got really, really lucky, I think I might be able to get a 66. I've never gotten a 66. I've never even gotten a 65 plus on coins I've just found and graded. But being as clean and nice as this one is, I mean, the fields, I know the cheek on it for a 66 has to be almost perfect. And I'm telling you guys, in person, this coin still looks so much better than in the light of the camera. But I am getting doubts that this could be cleaned. I guess leave a comment and let me know what you think. But the strike is beautiful. The cheek's really clean. The fields are pretty clean. I mean, I'm thinking like 65 plus, honestly. I think I could get it. 66 a stretch, but 65 plus, that's a very, very, very nice coin. So, all right. That was kind of the top of them all. This one here is just another decent looking one. Pretty decent in the fields. But I'm seeing all these really light marks. And I don't know. I mean, obviously something's there, but I don't think it's buffing marks. I think it's just wear marks. They don't look clean to me. But of course, if I were to send any of these in for grading, I would look at them through the scope and try to really determine, because I don't want to send in details coins and waste my money. But I think this one could be a 64, pretty easy. And this one here has got some toning on it, which doesn't make it the most beautiful kind of toning. Then the strike's weak. You can see the chest feathers are kind of dull. You can't make out a lot of the detail on them. Same with above the ear, but the fields are just really clean, and so is the cheek. And strike isn't always held against you. So when it comes to grading, if the strike is really great and it's really clean, those are going to be your really good, highly graded ones. But as far as getting like a 64 or 65, the strike, basically the die just didn't strike it as good. I mean, that's not necessarily wear, and you can tell if you hold it in the light in certain areas, like above the brow here. See how it's kind of shinier? The luster, basically it's a kind of duller, and then so when you start getting that shininess, that's where it's wear. And I mean, not saying it's not shiny at all, but it's not wear that has taken the detail out of it. It's the weak strike is why it doesn't have a lot of detail. So wear would get you a lower grade. A weak strike isn't counted against you as much. Now, if this was just an absolutely perfect strike and super clean, that's what's leaning me towards this one. If I don't get a details grade, being such a higher grade, I mean, okay, if you hold it like this, there you go. That's kind of how it looks more in person. I mean, pretty darn clean cheek, not a lot of chatter in the fields, and the strike is solid too. The only real wear I see on it is in the brow here, being shiny right there. And the surface, basically surface metal's been worn down. Kind of weird that it would happen on the brow. Usually you see it around the hairline above the ear, but at any rate, this is the one here that I think is really makes it all worth it if I can get a 65 plus on here. I don't think it's like crazy good. I think a 66 is like $900. 65 plus maybe 600 bucks, but you know, if they're worth over $100, I'll usually pull them aside, or you know, 150, something like that, and potentially send them in. So I'll take a closer look at this through the scope and try to make sure it's not cleaned, fingers crossed. And if it is, I'll send it in. And when I get it back, you guys will definitely know about it, and I'll brag about it, and I'll put a link to the description, or I'll put a link to the video in the description and at the end and all that good stuff. So if you're curious how this one turns out, subscribe, and 2 or 3 months later, usually, I'll have one back from Annex and let you know how it turned out. So, hope you like this video. If you're curious about the rest of the collection, I've got Franklin's, Kennedy's, Walker's, Peace Dollars, and then pre-21 Morgans that I'll be going through. Probably save those ones for last. Started off with some boring Morgans and get fancier as we go, I guess. And I haven't even sorted through it all, so I still got a job ahead of me. So, anyway, hope you guys liked the video. If you stuck with me through this whole thing, I sure appreciate it. Drop a comment below, and I will catch you guys on the next one.